social media and everything, I can see you really got a passion for it
Yeah,
as well as myself. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it being 50 years, so did you see the BET Awards?
I saw like the highlights.
Okay, you saw
Yeah,
that. Okay, so I watched it. I was watching it with my wife, right? And as we watched it, I'm like, man, it's something different. Like it's something. It don't feel like the other BET Awards. So like 30 minutes into, I'm like, oh, they don't have a host.
yeah,
So I realized they did the whole BET Awards without a host. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And so they doing performances, and then it's going into the next performance, and it's just like everything running together. You know what I'm saying? So it felt different. But
yeah,
what saved like the chaos or whatever is the fact that it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So you had like MC Light come out there, Big Daddy
yeah,
Kane, you know what I'm saying? You had it was a part where Master P came out, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
T.I. Like they tried to, you know what I'm saying, make sure everybody was associated with it. You know what I'm saying? Like they
yeah.
from all regions, all time periods, all of that, man. So I did like that. But if they took that out, as I'm watching, I'm like, man, this is hip hop right now. Like this is where we at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not one to like bash the new generation coming up. You know what I'm saying? I actually do like some of the artists, but as a culture, as a hip hop culture, I feel like it's not there, man.
I mean,
What you think, man?
no, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with the youngest, I don't bash them because they just the product of what the older generation did. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? The older generation hip hop, you know what I'm saying, I always say been infiltrated and nobody put a stop to that infiltration ever.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, the hip hop machine been going for so long to where these new babies is coming out with music is just a product of what y'all was feeding them anyway. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I don't never blame them for that. But now it's to the point where like with the OGs, and you starting to see it now. With like some of them OGs are starting to voice their opinions and get back out there and they're trying to bring balance back to the game. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? But
for
you
sure.
know, I do think, 50th hip hop, like the award show, I felt like it was rushed. One, I felt
Yeah.
like it was like a last minute, like, oh damn, it's 50. Oh, we need to do something. I think it was like a last minute effort.
It
You know?
did feel rushed.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it felt rushed, so I appreciated some of the artists, but then like if anything, of course they not gonna be perfect, but it's like y'all missing some stuff, it was just a rush job to me. And then so
Yeah.
overall, I just feel like the it's a it's I'm interested to see where hip hop go because you could tell it's a fall of something. It's the fall of it, right? But I want to know what comes out of the ashes of quote unquote hip hop because the current structure or business model of it or the machine, if you would, it has to
Yeah.
fall. I'm with it falling. It needs to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm
Nah,
kind of
for sure.
interested to see where it's going to go from there. But I feel like 9 7 years ago, hip hop is dead. And
Yeah, man. And it's wild because I feel like when Nas said that, people didn't understand what he was saying.
yeah,
And because when people hear hip hop, they only think of one aspect of hip hop. They think of rapping.
yeah,
When hip hop is four elements to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You got DJing, you
yeah,
got graffiti,
yeah.
you got
Dance, break dance.
break b-boying, break dancing, and you got MCing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's and even from when those elements was created, hip hop then turned into just a whole culture. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Whether it's it being a vessel where we get our information from, whether it being a vessel where it's influencing what we dressing, you know what I'm saying? Where it's influencing good and bad. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's a whole culture. So if you only taking the hip hop, I mean the rapping part, you know what I'm saying? What the culture is not continuing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And what the driving force of hip hop has been for all these years, it's the whole culture. So, and to be honest with you, man, I feel like that, and you brought up the older generation, you're absolutely right. I feel like we it's a result of the generational gap. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
the youngest coming up, they don't know the history. They don't know the history of themselves, let alone hip hop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And they just know what they saw. So like
Yeah,
even like I be looking like just in the communities, like it'd be like in the communities you see the youngest out here, they putting in work, they body and stuff, right?
right.
But
Yeah,
it's what they grew up and saw and heard. Like you just heard, and a lot of the rappers I was feeding this didn't really live this life. But
facts.
but the little but you know what I'm saying, a little personal mind don't know that difference. So they growing up,
Yeah,
oh yeah, this is what it is, and then they get sucked right into what culture that was created, and now that's why you got chaos like this and
yeah,
anarchy
man.
and all that.
Yeah, and it's the other hidden hand in it is it's all about design. You know what
Fact.
I'm saying? This is a result of the record label saying, "Oh, what you say on your album? Oh, you got something conscious in there? Nah, don't put that out. Put this out." You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Put the gang culture in there. Put the you know what I'm saying? Put the stuff that don't have no real substance. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
And I think another thing too, man, it's the fact that when people hear quote unquote conscious rappers, or when they hear people talk about substance and music and things of that nature, right? They automatically assume that it gotta be whack. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Automatically assume that it gotta not be good. You know what I'm saying? Like corny even,
Mm-hmm.
like We Are the World music, or that whole the spoken, and I love spoken word, but you know what I'm saying? But just that whole like generic
Yeah.
snap, you know what I'm saying? Snap your fingers type
Cause
type
no,
music.
cause I heard it's funny. I heard Gift say, big Gift from Goody Mob. He said, my man said, what he say? He said the industry or the machine made it to where the intelligent they make them bitter, and then the
Yeah,
ignorant they made rich. So through
facts.
the years, the ignorant was promoted to the point to where you were down in the conscious, right? So it'd have been different if it was a healthy balance through the years, because music is subjective. If you had
Yeah,
your consciousness and then you had your the other side of it, but it's been so heavy pushed on the ignorant music to where we've been programmed when we hear consciousness, it just don't hit the same to us, to our eardrums, because we so used to that 808 and that
yeah,
certain sound. So if you're not spitting on that, you were like,
yeah. And see, and to me, the best rappers is the ones that can that do talk that, but infiltrate through the beat. You know what I'm saying? Or infiltrate through the
yep,
melody and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And that's why I love Kendrick Lamar. I feel like Kendrick Lamar is an example of somebody that do it today. You know what I'm saying? That like when you hit a beat, it's like especially what's the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, or Damn, when you hear
yeah,
them albums, you know what I'm saying? Having like Mike Will on there and things of that nature. Um Sometimes the lyrics will go over people's head for real. You know what I'm saying? Because they listen to the beat. But if you really listen to what he's saying,
yeah,
he's an example of what we're talking about. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And going back to what you were saying about the balance. In the 80s and the 90s, it was a more so, yeah, the 80s and the 90s was a balance.
yeah,
You know what I'm
no
saying?
problem.
Like what for all the NWAs, it was a Public Enemy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? When you had a Schoolie D, you also had a KRS-One. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? When you had Mobb Deep, you had Tribe Called Quest. You
yeah,
feel me? So and I also think that's a result of people back then. Like it was a for you to be inauthentic, or to come on record and not be yourself, off break, you was shitting on. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like,
yeah,
yeah, like nah,
yeah, facts.
I can feel that this is not you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, and I think that's what resulted in getting so many shades, or so many flavors. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was just being themselves.
yeah,
And we all are different. So if you being your original self, of course it's gonna come off different. You know what I'm saying? So where you had a Biggie, you also had Common, or you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or
my man Pop, you know what I'm saying?
you had Pop, you know what I'm saying? And for all the you had Pop, then you had Outkast, you know what I'm saying? Like it
Okay.
was, or Scarface, or UGK, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I feel like that's lacking now. When you especially with a generation like this in high school, young, I be listening to like, I'll be watching different videos and stuff like that, man. They all look the same and sound the same. Like
Yeah,
and it's all detrimental to our community, man. Like for real.
I mean, but that's on the main stage. So I mean, because it is diversity, but now you got to really search for and kind of dig in the weeds for it. On the mainstream, it's gone. That's gone. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
On the mainstream, that's true.
That's gone, bro. So you know what I'm saying. Now,
what's some artists that you would say that's underground or that's not really pushed like that kind of resemble what we talking about?
Oh man. Oh man. See, this is crazy, right? I don't even listen to music like I used to, but I'll give you someone I know that I follow on IG is my man. And he in the nation too, actually. Via the Hub. I rock with him. His name Via the Hub. I rock with him. I love his, I love his music. I think he can do something. I mess with Milan.
Where you
from? Boston. I think he's from Boston.
From Boston. Okay.
Yeah. If I can't think of underground off the top of my head though, because now when I do listen to music, it's a lot of older. Like I have a whole playlist, and there's a lot of older tunes over the years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now I do mess with like Larry June, Jay Worthy, and
Larry June. I heard of him. I heard of Larry June.
I do mess with this guy from Detroit, Payroll Giovanni.
Okay.
Of course,
I ain't never heard of him.
Yeah, he's from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? There's a few cats that I listen to, but like I would have to really go do some heavy research to find that perfect balance, if you would. And then like we said earlier, man, I ain't gonna lie, some of that deep rap that we do need, the beats ain't clicking for it because I grew up on a certain sound wave.
Yeah. Glad you brought that up. Matter of fact, let me touch on something else you said. So we talking about the underground, right? So when you was in college, what years was that?
Between 2006 to 2006 to 2010.
Okay. So I was at A&T. What college did you go to again?
Bowie State.
Bowie State. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely shout out to Bowie State. I was at A&T, man, from 08. So I graduated 07, but I went to college in 08. And I graduated in 2015. You know what I'm saying? It took a minute. You know what I'm saying? But when I was there, right? J. Cole, Wale, Big Sean, Kendrick, Drake, Sci-Hi the Prince, 2 Chainz, Wiz Khalifa, Meek Mill, Nipsey, all of these artists dropped mixtapes when I was in college. You know what I'm saying?
Was the thing still.
Yeah, and I remember at that age coming back home and like playing for like my older cousins or whatever, and like they never heard of J. Cole, they never heard of Wale. They heard of Wale. Excuse me, they definitely heard of Wale back home. But and Wale actually before he dropped More About Nothing and the 11-111 mixtape, he was already a signed artist, so people heard of Wale. Yeah. But Kendrick and Drake, even Drake, you know what I'm saying? All of these rappers, they broke through underground mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So based on what you was telling me about how like the mainstream, I gotta check myself on that because it kind of been like that for a while. As far as like the people that was on mainstream, you kind of had to dig for the good music. You know what I'm saying? And being 100 with you, I haven't been digging, you know what I'm saying? I haven't really been seeing the underground.
Back in the day, it was easier back then to dig for because before, the streaming took over, that's what made it, right? The streaming now made it to where made it so convenient for me that I don't feel like going to other sites and trying to go on to SoundCloud to listen and this, that, and the third. I'm going to my iTunes or Spotify quick and boom, I'm gonna keep it moving.
Facts, yeah, that's
back
true.
In the day, we had Dat Piff and these different sites to where I could see, damn, who this Wiz Khalifa? Let me check it out. Yeah. And then I'm hearing these different mixtapes and this different, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now that's lost too. Because now for underground artists, they gotta put that on iTunes and stuff just to be heard. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. It's this other site called Spinrilla. And when I was
Spinrilla, yeah, we used to, man, yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because I used to always go to either Dat Piff or I think it was called Live Mixtapes. I think that was
Live
the other site.
mixtape. Yep.
Yeah, Live Mixtapes. But when I was working at this high school, one of the students put me on the Spinrilla. I never even heard of it before. And now I got the app on my phone,
Yeah.
and that's where I go to listen to like well, More About Nothing streaming on Spotify now, but that's why I used to listen to More About Nothing,
Yeah.
listen to Sci the Prince, Royal Flush, and all of them mixtapes that came out that you can't find on streaming. They on that app or whatever. So yeah, you definitely right. So it sounds like the outlets, we need better or outlets like back then so we could be up to date with the underground. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
I mean,